head right. Oh, yeah. What's going on, y'all? It is time for a dose from TZL. Let's talk a little bit about some stuff that came across my desk this week. I've been out of sorts for a little bit. Sorry, I've been kind of MIA for a moment. Been trying to fix stuff at my website, make things more accessible. And well, more importantly, y'all, I'm trying to get off of YouTube. I'm trying to get out of here, man. And, have this stuff coming out from my website. What do I want to be feeding the enemy for? These people hate us, right? We don't hate them. We love them. Because in the Lord, that's what we're supposed to do. We love our enemies, but, they can't return the favor. So, at any rate, I figure I would just do them a favor, man. I don't want to feed the monster. We definitely not fighting them. Feeding them more than anything else. So I want to get off of YouTube. So that being said, y'all, if you guys are seeing this, I hope that you will go to my website, bronzeserpentmedia.com. And you don't have to, it doesn't cost anything. Just subscribe there if you want to get updates about what I'm doing. And when I host these commentaries, that's where I'll be. I want to move the party over there. What's left of it anyway. You guys are the folks that I party with, and I so appreciate that you guys come and hang out as I give my observations on these things. So at any rate, if you guys would be so inclined, hopefully starting in October, I will be just doing this stuff exclusively from my website. And I'll still use YouTube to let folks know that that's what I'm doing, give teasers here and there. But other than that, my content is going to be just parked at my website. And hopefully y'all will share my videos from there and help me keep on growing and, get this liberation going from YouTube, really a push for, a declaration of independence up in here, a revival of that. You know what I'm saying? So at any rate, y'all, this is what has been snapping in, maybe even crapping in some senses. And once again, thank you guys so much for coming in to hang out. A blessing to me indeed. I hope that these observations are a blessing to you as well. And speaking of blessings, if you want to go ahead and have a mutual blessing, bless yourself and bless me by purchasing these Zoloft mugs. Get you a cup full of head right? They're available on my website, bronzeserpentmedia.com. And, like I said, that's where the party is going to be moving to. So let's talk a little bit about some stuff that has been going on for, I guess, the past few days. Actually, that's been going on for thousands of years because the cray-cray has just been here, right? And there's no excuse to not see it anymore. But we got representative, the so-called representative. I guess she represents crazy people. And that's why her name is Alexandria Ocrazio Cortez. Something wrong with her cortex. All right. And now here's another thing that's kind of proven the cray-cray with her. She wants women. She calls women menstruating persons, or anybody who menstruates, right? Anybody who menstruates is going to be a menstruating person. Okay, I see we're going to do the hyphenated persons thing. And so I elect that AOC, her hyphen is going to be crazy. She a crazy person, right? These people will be birthing persons. These people will be menstruating persons. O-crazio Cortez is a crazy person. That's your hyphen. All right, fine. I'll play along, crazy person. And so I guess she's all twisty britches because of Texas, drawing a line and saying, no, you're not doing this. You're not going to push this abortion stuff on us. And then this, she's trying to do this from New York. New York trying to come tell Texas what to do. Hey, Texas has a moment where it stands up for itself. Careful, Texas, though. Remember that, y'all. We're Democrats longer than you were Republicans. Be careful that you can fall back to this. Sometimes I see that cray-cray in Texas, rearing its ugly head, too. Be careful that you don't fall back into being a Democrat-run state. But at any rate, but hold the line. Godspeed to you. Texas be like, New York City. It's like, no, don't be pulling that nonsense over up in here. So now, for Alexandria Ocrazio and people who think like her. Wow. Okay. So, now out of all the genders, right? Out of all the genders, all two of them, only women can menstruate. Dang, did we learn this in biology, in grade school? Or not grade school, maybe the grade where, girls start to, experience these things. Okay. We've known this for a while, that this is a girl. attribute, a female attribute. There's nothing else. This is just something that, you know, this is what females experience. Okay. There's just not a lot of nuances. There's not a lot of nuances to warrant the term birthing persons. Now, obviously, this is something that people like Alexandria Ocrazio is deeply insecure about. Look, y'all, this is one of the big reasons why women promote this idea that this is something not unique to this isn't something unique to women. You know, that's why they're going along with this whole birthing or menstruating persons narrative. You know, it's like this hyphenated persons, because they don't want it to be like, you know, hey, they're the only ones who experience this. You know, now here's the thing, y'all. Step on some more toes here. I can understand why a lot of women are, you know, who, you know, in a being more feminist minded. I can understand why they can become very insecure about these things. Like, for example, I'm not saying it's the only reason, but for example, there's a lot of male jerks out there who belittle women, you know, for this cycle. All right, causing women to be, you know, contributing to women being very insecure about these things. Crude comments like, you know, oh, she's on rag and all that sort of stuff, right? And vulgar comments concerning the hygienic implications of this and whatnot. You know, inconsiderate males have done their share of driving women to be psychotically insecure about these things. Okay, and let's be real. A lot of women themselves have done their fair share too. They do it to each other, right? You know, women do it. They do it also. It's almost like, you know, with black folks, they get mad about, you know, the idea, or it's like they have it in their mind that white people just go and call black people the N-word all the time. It's like, yeah, that's what they say in secret. They say it in private and all this. They're always calling us, you know, the N-word and whatnot. But meanwhile, they're out in public calling each other the N-word all the time, making people think that it's okay. Black folks do it all the time, the majority. Right? Unfortunately, I don't want to broad brush here, but unfortunately, it is the majority. You got blacks out there who just throw the N-word around like it ain't no thing, and then want to accuse white people of calling them the N-word in secret. You know, meanwhile, they vote loyally to the party that is totally bold about it and has a history of racism and bigotry, but they're loyal to them, but want to broad brush all white people for calling them the N-word behind their backs and all that sort of stuff. And that's what they do. That's what they say about us in secret and stuff like that, while they just totally call each other the N-word out in public all the time, right? And you got women, same thing. Women say these things about each other and they do these things, and it's like, well, I guess they do it to each other. I guess it's okay for guys to do it, you know, do it too. You got guys out there, you know, saying crude things about women and stuff like that, making them feel insecure about their anatomy and whatnot. And so it's like, well, what do you expect? You know? And this other sad thing about it too is that you have these women who do these things and think that it's a part of empowerment. They think it's empowered. Oh, they really embrace these things about themselves. And, you know, I'm telling y'all, there's so many layers. There's so much dysfunctionality and toxicity to dig through, and there's plenty of blame to go around for it, y'all. And you know, at some point, people got to be able to say, okay, you know what, I repent. Not just freaking apologize. That's weak. You got to repent. I used to be one of those guys, you know, you got your locker room talk and you're saying crude things about women and stuff like that, and no, it's not okay, man. It's not okay. You know, there's humor, and then there's just mean-spirited humor, and there's just some certain places that you just don't go. You just don't promote that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But some people, they can't resist. They can't resist, and they do it anyway. And they don't think there's any harm in it, and it's not going to have any repercussions or any sort of ramifications. Y'all, it does. Okay? Everybody just thinks that, oh, well, what's it going to hurt? You do that stuff collectively, and that stuff, it turns, it's a volatile pattern, man. Look at where we are now. But hey, nobody thinks that they contributed to it, right? Nobody thinks that they did. You know, everybody should just, you know, it'd be nice. I don't want to say what people should do, but it'd be nice if people just would stop and consider, say, you know what? I know it ain't all my fault. But I know at the same time, maybe I may have done something to contribute to this, and I should reflect on what that is with the counsel of the Holy Spirit and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just, it's contributing to, people, just the way people are about each other now, just overly sensitive and all that sort of stuff. We complain about people being overly sensitive, but we don't want to take any responsibility about what we contribute to it. We never think that, it's not on us. We can't handle that. We didn't do anything, somebody did something. All right. So, I want to be among one of those people say, hey, Lord, if I've done something to contribute to this, let me not do this anymore. I repent. I don't want to be a part of driving the cray-cray. All right. I don't want to end up being nuts like AOC, where it's like we're talking about menstruating persons as if there's a possibility there's another gender, so to speak, that can do. No, man. Anyway, y'all. So, a big part of why women want to make it seem, not just women in general, but these feminist-minded people, these people who've just gone on the deep end with their insecurity, their pride and insecurity about being women, right? And just concerning women. They want to make it seem that there's other genders that can menstruate, right? Why? Well, so they don't have to feel so insecure that it's just them. That's what it comes down to, right? Their insecurities. So a person, y'all, who's bleeding, right, is usually taken as a sign of weakness and wounded, right? It's anybody, right? Doesn't matter who it is. It's a person who's like bleeding. It's like, oh, okay, they've drawn blood. You got blood from this person. That's usually taken as a sign of weakness and a sign of, and of course, wounded. Not just wounded, physically, but, wounded your pride, wounded your ego, right? Wounded you emotionally, wounded you mentally. Okay? They've drawn blood. All right. Now, so you guys can start to see the implications of weakness here and being wounded, the vulnerability. Okay. Who wants that attached to them? Right? Well, these feminists don't want to be seen as people who are in a regular state or cycle of weakness and wounded every month. All right? You see what I'm saying? These things get down to this core level with them, and they're very insecure about it. And they don't need any help with that. All right, so I said, back off. It's like, it doesn't matter how crazy they are. I get it. These women, they can drive you crazy with all this sort of stuff. Don't stoop to their level. I see people out there, even I don't care if it's Nancy Pelosi. I don't care if it's Hillary Clinton or anything like that. Don't stoop to their level. These are evil, twisted women. Yes. Don't let them suck you into that. Keep the high ground. And I see a lot of conservatives out there, well, we need to start getting in the mud. We need to start playing dirty like that. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's as the word says, don't try to, don't cast your pearls before pigs. Don't get there and try to get in the mud with them. They'll destroy you. A paraphrase of that would be, don't try to have an argument with an idiot. They'll beat you with experience. You want to try to play dirty with these people? It ain't going to work. It's not working. A lot of people think that we're not playing dirty. It's like, what kind of mindset is that? I hear a lot of conservatives say, we're not playing dirty enough with them. Wow, really? That's like the socialists out there saying, well, we're not being socialist enough. We didn't go far enough, right? That's the same mindset when I see some of these conservatives out there saying we need to play even dirtier than they. Why? What for? Why? Just so we can have a bigger population of dirty playing people, and then we got each other to deal with? To contend with as dirty people? What are we going to do about them? When are you going to know when to stop? You don't. So why not? Why start? Don't even start. Keep the high ground. Any military strategist will tell you that the high ground is the better place to be anyway. That's where you want to be, the high ground. Make them work against gravity while you're making gravity work for you. Because you got a lot of conservatives out there who want to fight dirty. No, man. You don't do that. You got the vantage point. Keep the high ground, So now, as I've said before, y'all, these feminists, they welcome the idea that there's more than two genders, because if there is, it means that if they can't be the dominant gender, at least they don't have to be the weakest one. You see what I'm saying? That's why these women are doing this, these feminists. That's why they're doing it, if I may remind you. right? But here's the thing, that nuts like Alexandria Ocrazio don't understand. If you're so afraid, of a baby, I'll remind, these nuts out there, if you're so afraid of a baby that you kill them, right, then you are the very embodiment of weakness. All right. And isn't it so funny that the so-called, these woke people, are so cross-eyed triggered, about anybody controlling women's bodies, yet are demanding that people get this so-called vax. They want it pushed on their bodies, right? Oh, the irony, the hypocrisy. Oh my goodness, right? They just got it all day. All right. So I see Sandy there saying that, you can't fight evil with evil. That's right. That's right, buddy. That's right. The word says, do not repay evil with evil. Don't do it. And there's a better way. Let's see. And that's where conservatives, you gotta be patient like that, man. You gotta have that integrity to be able to do that. The Democrats, they're playing a long game. They playing conservatives for a long game, man. Conservatives they don't understand. They see that, and I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more, but see, a lot of these conservatives, they think that these Democrats are stupid. Their worldview is stupid, but these Democrats ain't stupid, man. They're evil geniuses. All right. And too many conservatives are underestimating these people. That's why you're losing your country. All right. So, they're, like I said, they're evil. Don't let them suck you into their evil. And unfortunately, a lot of Democrats are doing that. Let's see. They're succeeding at it. Let's see. What else we got here? We got Virginia. Oh, this is a favorite one of mine. This is still going on. Hey, don't blame me if I'm still talking about this, because this stuff is still going on. All right. So if it's still going on, I'm going to talk about it. And I know people go, oh, you keep talking about the same things. Well, people keep doing the same things. So I'm going to talk about it. All right. And let you know that there was a better way to do this. But, and what do I know? Okay. So we got Virginia cuts Robert E. Lee's statue into pieces. Man, that sounds morbid. All right. Cut it into pieces. I guess they wish it was the real person. Right now. And this is what breaks my heart, y'all. This is what breaks my heart. When I keep seeing people making comments like this, this one comes from Wally Karen, I guess Karan, I don't know, Wally Karan Prather, right? And this is on Breitbart, right? And this is what he says. Robert E. Lee, I don't know if it's Wally Karen. I don't know if it's a Wally. I don't know what that is. Okay. Robert E. Lee did not fight for slavery. Yeah, I've heard that like 100 times, man. And it's like one of the worst arguments that you can make concerning this, right? Anyway, Robert E. Lee, he says that Robert E. Lee did not fight for slavery. He fought for Virginia. That's what he did. He fought for Virginia, all right? He was offered command of the Union Army by Lincoln, but refused to take up arms against his home state of Virginia. All right. Conservatives, Republican voters, I wish, at least, because I know people see these comments, it would be so fantastic if I saw more people voting down comments like this than voting up. But it's always significantly more upvotes for comments like this than downvotes. And you wonder why. The left is so efficient at promoting the narrative that y'all are a bunch of racists. I'm trying to tell you, because you guys stand for this. So many Republican voters, they stand for stuff like this. They don't challenge it. They don't let people know that they disapprove of it. They go along with it. And this is why people think that, hey, this is just acceptable with conservatives and Republicans. This is who you are. Yeah, it's official. Y'all have switched sides. They've been saying that y'all, it's fine. And you might as well have. They've been saying about you, and when they make comments like this is exactly what it looks like. And this is why they're able to beat conservatives in the culture. Just beating conservatives all day. Just taking over the country. They taking it. Right? Because of stuff like this. These people are so naive, y'all. So naive. Listen, let me help you out here. All right? And I know I can say this to y'all because y'all get it. You know what I'm talking about. You know that there's so many Republican voters out there who are just letting this stuff go and they support it. They endorse it. Like they condone it. What's it supposed to look like? Okay? let me explain something to these so-called these Republican sellouts who say stuff like this. Listen, when you say Robert E. Lee wasn't pro-slavery, listen to me now, listen to me. That's the same thing as when Democrats try to say they're not pro-abortion. No, we're just standing up for the rights of women. Don't forget that Robert E. Lee was a Democrat, okay? This is what Democrats do. All right? So the same way that these abortionists will say that, no, we're not pro-abortion, we're pro-women's rights. The same way that Robert E. Lee would say, no, I'm not pro-slavery, I'm pro-Virginia. What the heck do you think that's supposed to mean? You think a lot of these Democrats out there are going to be told, oh, yeah, we're pro-abortion. I mean, it's getting worse that they're just flat out, yeah, we're pro-abortion and proud of it. We'll put a baby to death in an instant. Let's just go ahead and call it infanticide. But no, there's a lot of Democrats out there who will tell you, no, I think abortion is horrible, but I think a woman should have a right to do it. I'm just standing up for women's rights. It's the same thing as Robert E. Lee. Oh, I'm not pro-slavery. I'm just standing up for Virginia. What do you think they were doing there? Okay, this argument is stupid and it's costing you. How long I gotta tell y'all, man? How long I gotta tell you? When you wake up to it and stop defending that stupid flag and those monuments made by the Democrat Party, and you wonder why people think that the parties have switched sides. That's because of these people, and you got all these people voting up on it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Robert E. Lee. Oh, my God, man. It's like just helping. It's like you guys think that the Democrats are so dumb and so stupid. Well, I keep telling you, foolish people don't get ahead without people's help. And they're getting more help from the conservatives than George Soros could ever have time to do with these people. All right. Robert E. Lee still swore allegiance to the Democrat-authored Constitution of the Confederate States and warred against the Constitution of the United States. So the Constitution of the Confederate States puts in clear provisions for Negro slavery. All right, while they keep wanting to try to say, well, the war wasn't about slavery. You got a lot of these Republican voters educated in Democrat school systems. Hello. Trying to say that the war wasn't about slavery. Democrats' Constitution of the Confederate States flat out tells you what they were about. But no, forget all that. No, it's all about my Southern pride and heritage and history. Your pride is destroying the country. All right. So that Constitution that Lee went to war under. So many, you got these Republican voters. You got these Republican voters out there. I see, I don't know how I just gravitated. Maybe I'm just biased or something like that, but I see Tyler Dunsel has put in 20-pound sledge rules. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. I got to acknowledge that. I just caught my eye. Because I can't hardly do two things at once when it comes to this sort of, but I just happened to catch my eye and I got to call it out. Yeah. All right. Back on focus here. Let's see. But y'all, like I said, you got a lot of these Republican voters. They can totally see that the Democrats are pretty much trying to enslave. They're trying to make a society of serfs, under state slaves, right? Just make their pick of who's going to be the slave class and who's going to be the elites. Right, you see that difference. You see, and you got Republicans out there. We're not going to be enslaved, and we're not going to live under this tyranny and all that. They can totally see that when it comes to them, but totally dismissive when it comes to the Democrats that enslaved the blacks in the 1800s. Oh, no, the war wasn't about slavery. None of that stuff. And we didn't even need a war to end slavery and all that sort of stuff. But like I said, when it comes to them coming to enslave you and take your guns, oh, you ready to have a war then, ain't you? Oh, yeah, there's going to be a war. Or maybe there will be. I don't know. They're taking the country. I don't see anything going on. Right. I mean, I guess conservatives are so complacent about the country being taken from them that even the Democrats had to fake an insurrection for them and pose as them, because it wasn't like Republicans were going to do it. You had to have some Democrats come in there and fake it for you. Well, you know, I mean, Democrats are usually, that's why they go into acting, you know, of course. You know, they're really good actors. And we're able to pull off acting like Republicans that wanted to take their country back and had a little insurrection on January 6th. We had to rely on Democrats to come out here and fake it and pose as Republicans, right? Because what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to be like, we need to get our kids back in school. Oh, yeah, that's a brilliant plan. Go ahead and demand to send your kids back to the people who are indoctrinating them in the first place. These schools are a bunch of indoctrination camps. We need to get our kids back in school. This is what conservatives do, man. Come on now. You know, you guys know what's up. Like I said, that's why you guys hang out and say, hey, man, this is our sane space. It ain't the liberals out there who are just crazy. You got a lot of Republican voters out there. They crazy too. They crazy too. They're under the spell of these nuts, thinking that they're fighting them and that they were going to drain the swamp and all that sort of stuff. No. All right. So, like I said, they're totally dismissive of what the Democrats were doing with the Confederacy. Oh, it was, you know, the North had slaves too. Of course, the North had slaves because they had Democrats, right? What you gonna try to say to Republicans? The Republican Party wasn't even around yet. When did they have slaves? Yeah, there was slavery in the North, of course. Yeah, there's Democrats there. All right, but so the sad part of it is that they'll be totally dismissive of that, and you got a lot of these Republican voters out there talking about, yeah, that's when they were the good Democrat Party. That's when the Democrats were at least sensible. At least you could have a conversation. What, really? No wonder people think that you Republicans have switched sides with the Democrat Party. You hear it all the time. This isn't your grandfather's Democrat Party. This is your party of the middle 20th century. Like these people, like the Democrats were so much better back then. What, with Jim Crow, you know, and revocation of civil rights, voter, that Democrat Party, they were so much better. The Democrats of Lincoln's day, those Democrats, they were just so fabulous. They were just, you know, the cream of human goodness. That's who the Democrats were. At least they were patriotic and you could have a sensible Yeah, a war that led to 500,000 people dead. Yeah, the Democrats, they were so much more easily to talk to. Democrats that were bombing churches and stuff like that and going out and holding lynching parties. Oh, but you could talk to Democrats back then. At least you could have a sensible conversation with Democrats back then. Wow. Wow. Not like this new Democrat Party. New Democrat Party. Are you serious? There ain't no new Democrat Party. These people have always been crazy. But you got a lot. And where do you think these Republicans got that from? Oh, because they've been educated. By who do you think? By Democrats. You know? But, you know, me, now what Zoe's talking about, Anyway, so I get so sick of these people who are prideful liabilities to the Republican Party and to the Republic altogether, right? So as long as this has been going on, conservatives have been arguing, you know, about defending, leaving the Confederate monuments up, arguing that it's heritage and history, you know, which has long been a losing argument and self-sabotage, right? I've been telling Republican voters for years that if you're going to stand for leaving leaving the monuments up, make your reason simply be this: for the sake of not letting the Democrats erase their bigoted history. No, what conservatives say, no, we got to leave them up because it's heritage and history. And if you take those down, then you might as well take down this and you might as well take that. That's their argument. That's their brilliant flipping point. If you take this down, well, you know what? They were doing it anyway. They even went after statues of Lincoln. They went after statues of Frederick Douglass. You know why? Because Republicans never made it clear about who is what with what. No, instead, Republicans just said, no, if you tear this down, you're going to have to tear this down. And they said, no. You should have been arguing. It's very flippin' simple. You should have been arguing the point of, no, these things are going to stay standing so people will know where they came from. They came from the Democrat Party. That's their heritage. That's their history. Republicans weren't doing that. No, it's heritage and history, and we need to stand up because if you take these down, and everybody's going to have to take everything else down. I don't know what the crap kind of argument is that. It's meaningless, worthless argument, right? So you're paying for it now. Now, after so much damage has been done, now you see a few Republicans, saying that Democrats are trying to hide their history. Oh, great. I'm glad you. Well, I guess better late than never. Better late than never. You know, it's like too many conservatives, they act like, you know, when a doctor is trying to tell them, hey, man, you might want to stop doing that. You know, and conservatives, I'll do what I want to. My daddy smoked, he straight drank whiskey until he was 90 and smoked cigars until it was, I do what I want, you know. And then when it comes down to, hey, man, you know, you got the sugar, man, you got the diabetes. You're going to lose your leg, right? Oh, no, you got to save my leg, right? It's too late now. That's what conservatives act like. They wait until it's just really flipping bad, and now they want to do something. Oh, they want to panic and everybody will do something. And it's always around election time. Here comes election time. Now they're in a panic. They want to do something. They do the same thing that they accuse Democrats of doing. Oh, it's election time. Here come the Democrats with all their campaigning, and they're acting, and they're motivated, and they're getting out there and they're doing what they got to do, right? And then when they get what they want, and then they disappear. Conservatives do the same flipping thing. Oh, when election time gets ready to go, now they're getting motivated. Oh, it's crunch time, and oh, we're going to lose our country. And if we don't vote, we're going to lose our country for the next 50 years and all that sort of stuff. That's what conservatives do. When it comes around to election time, projecting that on the Democrats. No, man, Democrats are playing a long game all the time. Democrats never stop campaigning. Democrats never stop with their propaganda. They're always doing it. And I can prove that because what are Republicans always saying? What do they always say? You've awakened a sleeping giant. The giant's always flipping sleeping. Democrats always awake. Really. They're woke zombies. They're always out there. Always promoting their ideas. Always promoting prejudice against you. Always. Right? And then it's the Republican voters who typically get motivated around election time. And they got to get out there and save the country. Find their political messiah to save the country. Save their state or whichever. What are you doing? Are you helping to promote conservative ideas? Promote it in the culture? Lay the cultural groundwork? You know? What are these Republican voters doing, man? You know? So, you know, but like I said, I mean, it's good to see, you know, yeah, so I see somebody say their rules for T-Dem says T says the Democrats' playbook comes from Rules for Radicals by Solid. Exactly. And that's one of my points, T. That's one of my points. You got a lot of these Republican, but too many Republican voters out there calling these Democrats radicals. They're not radicals. They're not. Okay. And the Republicans have fallen into Saul Alinsky's trap. The Republican voters keep calling Democrats radicals because of Saul Alinsky. They've fallen into his trap. I keep trying to tell Republicans, don't do it, man. Don't follow along with that. These are not radicals. The Republican Party was founded as radicals. And if you give that distinction to the Democrat Party, you've only helped to promote the idea that the parties have switched sides. That's a tactic of Saul Alinsky, and Republicans have fallen for it. Too many have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker, man. I've tried to tell you. These people are not radicals. They're not even close. They are exactly what the Constitution calls them. They are rebellious. They are rebels. They're exactly what the Bible calls them. They are rebels. All right? But you got a lot of Republicans out there wanting to call them radicals when they're really not. They gave them our distinction. The Republican Party was founded as radicals, radical abolitionists. We're supposed to be abolitionists today, trying to abolish this oppressive regime of Democrats that we got with their policies. Are they not oppressing people? Don't we want this abolished? Hey, Republicans, did you forget who you are? What you were founded of? Of course you have, because you keep trying to call the Democrats the radicals. You forgot that that's who we are. That was what we were founded as, right? So anyway, I'm seeing a few people like they're starting to say it. Oh, Democrats trying to bury the history, you know, saying it like they never heard me say it. Well, I mean, I'm glad. I guess at least they're catching on, right? So let me see. One more, y'all. One more. I think. Why am I rambling? I saw this one. We got the Satanic Temple argues abortion is religious right. It's a religious right, huh? Challenging Texas law. All right. So abortion is what have we been saying, right? What have we been saying? So y'all gonna respect this establishment of a religion? I mean, the state has already established respecting a religion. That's already been done. All right, between this neo-paganism, environmentalism, this their God being science, so to speak, their man-made ideas of how things work. That's their religion. right? And it's all satanic anyway. So this article is going to say TST, as in the Satanic Temple. TST's membership uses these products in a sacramental setting. Okay, so like I said, abortion, y'all, is child sacrifice. We understand that, right? It's child sacrifice. This ain't nothing new. It's been going on for thousands of years. So abortion itself, these people, you want to talk about something that's just so obvious. They're just letting you know it's a religious right. Okay. And, but let me just go ahead and read what this says. It says TST's membership used the product in a sacramental setting. The satanic abortion ritual is a sacrament which surrounds and includes the abortive act. It is designed to combat feelings of guilt, doubt, and shame, and to empower the member to assert or reassert power and control over their own mind and body. Okay, so unfortunately, these folks don't understand how the First Amendment works. And the first right of the First Amendment is free religious exercise. Yeah, you can be a Satanist if you want to. Okay, but this is the thing. You can practice any religion you want, but you cannot use your religion to impose upon another person's rights. That's how that works. There's a balance of liberty that has to be respected here. You can't say, well, it's my religious right to enslave another person. It's my religious right to be able to steal from another person. It's my religious right to be able to force myself, or it's my religious right to have a sexual entitlement to a person. A person has to submit to me sexually. It's my religious right to be able to sacrifice or murder somebody. You can't do that. You can't use your religion for that. That's still a violation of somebody else's rights. Okay, so evidently these people, in their so entitled, prideful mindset, being the Satanists that they are, they don't understand that. Okay, you cannot use your religion to sacrifice. Did the kid volunteer? Right? Isn't the kid supposed to be able to volunteer? And if you're all about choice and equity and stuff like that, shouldn't you at least wait until the kid has developed, as you say? They're supposed to develop. The only one standing in their way in their development is you. Let them develop to be able to make the choice on whether they want to be sacrificed or not. Okay? And you can't be doing that anyway. But you're going to deny them the choice, right? I thought you guys were all about pro-choice. You're not going to allow them to develop. You're not going to allow them to have a choice or anything like that, you hypocrites. Okay? So now here's the thing. If they're talking about, they're having this ritual. I guess they're going to have, like, their circle of a 12-step meeting, or so, the 12 steps of Satan meeting, to be able to feel better about what they're doing. It's like, okay, so you guys are going to have this ritual, this abortion ritual with this person, designed to, and it's therapy, right? So you can combat, feelings of guilt, doubt, shame. What would you feel guilty for, right? Okay, you know why you guys are having that, your little meeting? Because you guys have to come to grips with the fact that you know that that's a human being. That's why. There's no other reason for you to feel guilty. You know it's more than a clump of cells. You know that it's more than just some of your blood. All right? No, you know that that's a human life. And you're going to deprive that person of their life. That's what you're trying to come to grips with. You know. So it's like, there's nothing for you to feel guilty for if it's not really human. If you're just removing something body, an excess growth of something that's just of your body, not another person or a human being. So here's the deal. This is child sacrifice. That's what these people want. They're flat out admitting it, that's what they're about. So that child isn't just going to be like aborted, as in, well, I'm pregnant and I don't want to be pregnant anymore. No, this is about sacrificing their kid to the devil. Okay, this is not anything new. This is the same. When you sacrifice your kid to Moloch, right, or any of these other pains, it's all the same thing. You may as well just be sacrificing your kid to the devil. It's all the same league. All right, it all turns out to be the same thing. So, at any rate, y'all, that's what we're dealing with, and it's getting more and more. And it's the word told us that it would be. It's just it's a shame though when you have people who are believing, and Lord help me, I don't want to be one of these people, man. That's one of my my hangups, so I don't want to help the cray go along. Well, we know it's gonna get crazy, man. It's the world, it ain't heaven, all right? At least not heaven where the Lord is, and things are going to they're gonna dissolve, man. It's gonna decay. So that's just the way that it is. It's just sad when you have people, claiming to be like believers and stuff like that, and they're helping this stuff go along. And man, Lord help me, I don't want to be one of those people. It's like, and one of the ways that people help this go along is, like I said, when you got these conservatives out there, I'm telling you, conservatives, Republican voters, don't underestimate. A lot of these Republicans, they don't know who the Democrats are, man. They really don't. They really don't know who they are. And, you got these Republican voters out there, acting like these Democrats are just so stupid. And have a mental illness. Like Joe Biden is just mentally ill. He's got dementia. No, he doesn't have dementia. He's demented. One, and the guy's an evil genius. And it ain't hard to be an evil genius, but that's what they are. These people aren't exactly stupid. All right. And when you have these Republicans out there telling, going on saying that Joe Biden is feeble-minded, he's mentally ill and stuff like that. Will you just remember that this dumb, feeble-minded, weak-minded, mentally ill guy was able to walk into the White House right under Donald Trump's nose. Okay, Republicans encourage people to not say that. I mean, think about that. You're basically, when you call these people mentally ill and all this and stupid and feeble-minded and all this sort of stuff, what you're saying is that the mentally ill has been able to take the country away from us. All right, you want to own that? You really want to own up to that? Right? You might want to stop that and start recognizing these people for who they are. All right? They are of their father, the devil, and the sins of their father they will do, and they're evil geniuses. Okay? Saying that they're mentally ill, you don't want to do that, because that just means that the mentally ill is beating you. All right? I keep hearing conservatives say that these Democrats need to do their job. Stop saying that. Please don't encourage people to say that. You say, it's like, dude, you don't want them to do their job. All right? Because Joe Biden is doing his job. He is doing what he was hired to do. All right. He's doing exactly what his constituents out there who wanted him to be president. He's giving them what they want. Right. And he's doing his job for the people he's been bought by. All right. So don't encourage Joe Biden to do his job. Please understand who Democrats are rebels. Their objective has been to tear down the United States and make it into what they want. You don't want them to do their job. All right, they've always been at odds with the Word of God and have always been at odds with the Constitution. Guys don't want these people to do their job. All right, Republicans should be encouraging Republicans to do their job. Their job is to get in the way of these godless Democrats. That's their job. Why don't we say, hey, Republicans who've been elected and appointed, do your job? Are they doing their job? Not really. All right. So we should stop encouraging Democrats to do their job, because their job is to destroy America. That's their job. That's what they do. All right. So at any rate, y'all, that's what I have on my desk for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys dig these commentaries, right, or my ranting and ramblings, right, my grouchy observations, if you dig them, man, I hope that you guys will go to bronzeserpentmedia.com, help keep this thing growing, help me, bring more productions to you, and find more illustrative means to be able to put, because we can reason together. You guys, that's why you tune in. You're reasonable folks, right? But not everybody is, can dig just, listening to these, a commentary on these things. Sometimes you got to have laser beams and, and all that sort of stuff, to get people's attention and whatnot. Well, we want to be able to produce those things. So, and we can do them with style and guts, man. And we can take this message and put it out there in a way that people can probably relate to it a little bit more on a larger scale. So I hope that you guys, we'll boogie over to the website and hope you support. I am so blessed by y'all who come in and hang out. I see familiar faces in here, and it's always so good to see you. So grateful that you guys find this content we're tuning into and offering your perspectives and stuff like that, and making it a community of sanity and trying to push that out there. Make sure you share these videos. I really appreciate that too. And be looking for me at my website, come October, I'm not doing these from YouTube. I'll promote it from YouTube, but I'm not going to be doing these on YouTube. If I can help it, I don't want to do these on YouTube or these other platforms anymore. So hope you guys will come on over to bronzeserpentmedia.com. Drop a buck in the bucket if you want to support, help me keep the lights on and stuff like that. And, get, some content with integrity as we talk about what's going on during the week. All right. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you get these mugs. We'll see you next time.